Lately, you're never on my mind. I'm trying hard to find a way to tell myself it's fine.
Hi, I'm Nora. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to share 6 easy wholesome snack ideas with you. All of them are vegan, of course, so without further ado, let's get started. The first one is Tahini oatmeal cookies. I was inspired by a recipe on Pinterest and it's really good. So first, preheat the oven to 175 degrees Celsius. To a food processor, add some jumbo oats, aka rolled oats, and some soft peaty dates. If your dates are dry, you can soak them ahead of time. And I measured some tahini into the food processor as well. A pinch of salt, which is optional, but highly recommended. And then we just blend them all together until they look like wet breadcrumb. Because it's a little bit dry, so I add a tiny bit of water to help binding. The texture should look like this. And then just use a tablespoon to scoop out the mixture, roll it into a bowl, and then press it against the baking sheet. Remember to use a baking mat or baking paper, and then bake them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes until they look like this. And the final step is to let them cool down completely. Then it's time to dig in. I know it looks simple. It is simple actually, but the tahini and the date together are amazingly satisfying. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm really happy with this recipe. Second recipe is cookie dough balls made from white beans. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but trust me, it's really good. So let's start by adding 130 grams of cooked white beans to a food processor, and then add some maple syrup, aka my favorite sweetener, and peanut butter. You can use other nut butter if you want. And I add some peanut flour, oat flour, and a pinch of salt, like always. Some pure vanilla extract, put a lid on, and get it blended all together. The texture should be quite smooth in the end. And then I just chop 2 squares of chocolate because they are cookie dough and cookie dough should have chocolate, right? You can just use chocolate chips if you want, but I don't have chocolate chips, so I use chopped chocolate. Scrape down the sides a little bit and then just use paws to blend them all together. Remove the blade and give it a proper mix to make sure all the chocolate chunks are spread out evenly. Then grab a plate or a pan, line it with a piece of parchment paper to prevent sticking, and use a tablespoon to scoop out the mixture. It will be quite sticky at this moment, but don't panic. Just use a finger to help, and then put them into the freezer for 15 minutes. After that, it shouldn't be as sticky as it used to be, and just use your hands to roll them into balls and put them back into the freezer for another 20 minutes. Then you can take them out, grab one, and enjoy. These are one of my favorite recipes because they are so delicious, like ice cream, seriously. So the third one is very simple but special for me because it's savory. So I usually use half of an avocado and then cut it into small chunks. And then I add some sweet soy paste, garlic powder, tahini, and some black pepper. And just mix them all together, mash them a little. And then here I just use this crispy bread. So basically, you just spread the mashed avocados on top of the crispy bread or any bread you want to use, and then just put it into your mouth to enjoy a savory snack. So the next one, I totally improvised it at that moment, but it's more like a chia pudding buffet, I guess. So, to a glass jar, add some chia seeds, soy milk or other non-dairy milk you want to use, some date paste, You can omit this if you use sweetened soy milk. Give it a mix. And then I use one wheat bisque. It's like a cereal but in a bisque format. And then I add some soy yogurt on top and frozen blueberries as well. I finish it off by adding some maple syrup and desiccated coconut on top and put a lid on, put it into the fridge for like 20 minutes or so. It's finished. It's really simple and quick to put together, yet the flavor and the texture, it's so yummy and creamy and so satisfying. I especially like the wheat bisque in it, and the juicy sweet blueberries just burn it to another level. Highly recommended. The next one is spiced apple cake. I'm still adjusting and testing this, but I think some people might like it, this version. So here we go. To a bowl, add some oat flour, almond flour, some baking powder, ground cinnamon, a little bit mixed spice, and a pinch of salt. Whisk them together. Then add some applesauce, soy milk, and a little bit apple cider vinegar. And a little bit vanilla extra and some date syrup. You can also use maple syrup if you want. Then just whisk them all together until smooth. And then grab a ramekin. Grease the ramekin with some coconut oil. I chop about half of an apple. And then pour about half of the batter into the ramekin. Add some apple chunks in the middle, and then pour the rest of the batter into the ramekin. Shake a little bit to even it out, and put it in the preheated oven to bake for 15 to 18 minutes until it cracks. You can test it by inserting a knife in the middle. It should come out clean. And I just top it with some chopped apples and some date syrup, a little bit cinnamon, and dig in. The taste is great, but the texture is a little fudgier than I expected. I probably will adjust a little bit next time. The next one is my all-time favorite, peanut butter no-bake energy bars. I'm not sure why I haven't shared it before, but here we go. To a big bowl, add some rolled oats, ground flaxseed, and a pinch of salt. Give them the mix, and then add some maple syrup and peanut butter. I'm using the chunky one, but if you prefer smooth, you can use small as well. So just mix them together, and then I add some desiccated coconuts and a handful of walnuts as well. Mix them together, and then grab a loaf pan. 8 inch will be the best size for this one, and line it with parchment paper. Transfer the mixture into the pan and use the sides of the baking paper to press it down firmly to make sure the mixture can stick together. Once you have finished shaping them, you can put them into the freezer for 30 minutes or until they are completely set. And then you can chop it into slices, bars, or literally any shape you want. But I usually chop it into like 4 big chunks and grab it with my hand because it makes me feel satisfied. Each bite is full of texture and the peanut butter flavor is just on the spot. So 2 words, make them. That's it. That's 6 easy vegan wholesome snack ideas. I hope you find any of them helpful or you want to try. Let me know by commenting down below. And you are more than welcome to share any snack or dessert ideas with me as well because I am sweet tooth. So that's it for now. See you next time. Bye!